Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Grant Smith here with the National Weather Service here in Juneau with another Weather Seekers podcast episode. Thanks for tuning in. We have a very special guest today. This is Erin Brunsen. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, this is kind of a special guest because she's not a meteorologist yet. But you will be. Yeah, you're in school at Iowa State.
Yes.
And but you are here as a Pathways student, which I have no idea what that is. So I'm interested to learn more about what that is. So go ahead. We'll start with just a little bit about you. Tell us who you are. Tell us your name and you know where you're from. What you doing here?
Yeah. So I'm Erin Brunsen, and I am originally from Iowa, a small town, Iowa Falls, Iowa, which is only around an hour away from Iowa State University, which is in Ames, Iowa, where you're in school. So Juneau's a little bit farther for me than
a little bit farther
what I'm used to, but that's okay.
Yeah. Hey, you get out, you learn all sorts of new weather. I'm from the Midwest as well.
Yeah.
From Kansas originally, moved here from South Dakota. So, I know what it's like to go from where you can see for miles and miles to now the cloud cover and fog is in the way and you can't see beyond the end of the driveway.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. This is fun. So you say you were a Pathways student. Mm-hmm. So what is that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Is that something you got to apply for?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Pathways is something you apply for. Pathways technically is like just through the government, so there's also other Pathways program, but for me specifically with the National Weather Service doing Pathways, it's just basically a stepping tool to getting into the National Weather Service and learning more about it, and it is a paid position, which is nice. There is volunteering, which I've done with the National Weather Service before.
What other offices?
I have volunteered with the Des Moines office in Iowa, which is, again, probably only 30 minutes to an hour away from Ames, where I go to school. And then with the Twin Cities, Minneapolis office.
Okay, nice. Nice. When back at my previous job, when I was in TV in Sioux Falls, I would read the discussions of those offices around there. So it's kind of neat there's a little bit of overlap there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you apply to this Pathways program. Do you intend to go into the Weather Service?
Yeah.
Okay, so why go into the Weather Service? Why not do anything else? Why Weather Service?
So for me specifically, I really like just the Weather Service, like how they're really wanting to help like just get the messages out to people and get the advisories, and like life and property is like their main goal. And I just have really enjoyed that, and I enjoy forecasting, and I enjoy the communication aspect. Specifically, like after I started learning more about the Weather Service and like doing volunteership and stuff, I really kind of enjoyed that outreach. I did a Girls in Science outreach with Des Moines, which was really cool. We just went to the Des Moines Science Center and was able to teach different kids about weather and just different things involved with it. So I really enjoy that outreach aspect, and just social media and communication with the community.
Excellent. So it kind of sounds like you're going to be going to the Weather Service, taking a very similar track to what I'm doing, where the communication aspect, other things like that. So you've been here for how long?
In Juneau.
Yeah.
I've been here since December 27th. So
okay, and you're just here between the two semesters?
Yeah.
Do you plan on coming back in the summertime?
Yes, I do plan on coming back. With Pathways, it is like specific amount of hours that you need, but also I'm just planning on coming back to experience Juneau again in a different season.
Yeah, summertime is pretty great here.
Yeah, it's been pretty great right now too. I know not everyone enjoys the winter in Juneau just because daylight and just not as much to do, but I've gotten out and gotten in the community and gone on some hikes and visited the glacier, and it's been great. So
yeah, you mentioned Andy took you out on some glacier hikes.
Yeah.
You're going to the museums. Mm-hmm. Is that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're hitting up all the good places here in Juneau.
Yeah.
Any good food places you've hit up already?
I've been to a few, not like only like one or two. I've been to Domino's a few times.
That's all right. Okay, so looking forward down the path, down the road, you get into the Weather Service. Do you get to choose where to go, or is this just like a stepping stone to get in the Weather Service? You graduated. Congratulations. Here's your assignment. You're going to this office. Or do you get to choose where you get to go?
So after I complete the Pathways program, I'll kind of get a list of places that do have openings at the time. So say like Juneau has an opening that will be on the list, and then say Seattle and all those areas, just different forecasting offices throughout the United States. If they have openings, I can actually look at that list and choose what area I would want to go to.
Excellent. And so you're from Iowa. Are you wanting to go back to the Iowa area, or just the plains? Or you want to go East Coast, West Coast, Hawaii? Where would you want to go?
Specifically for myself, I kind of do enjoy the West Coast. My sister is also in California, so it'd be a little closer to her. But I enjoy the West Coast. I also enjoy the plains. I mean, just the severe weather aspect. But honestly, wherever I can get into the National Weather Service, I'm willing to get into. So I'm willing to
go wherever and learn whatever types of weather happens there.
Yeah, that's kind of like with Pathways starting here. Like there were other opportunities for Pathways, and I applied to a few, and then eventually the Alaskan Pathways opened up, and I was like, why not? I'll go for an adventure.
Yeah, it certainly is up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to the Pathways program. You said there's a certain number of hours you have to complete at an office. What else is there a part of it that you have to do to be in it and to complete the program? Yeah.
So there's just, for me right now, there's like training modules you can do, and it's a lot of learning just with different forecasters on the floor, which is nice, which is a reason why I'm here right now in the office, because when I am back at school, I can do a lot of those training modules and all of that and get that out of the way. But when I'm here, I can really like get into the forecasting they're doing and looking at the posts they're making on social media and the different projects they're doing within the office.
Yeah, I remember when I was going through my training, so we talked about this, where like TAFs, like doing the modules made TAFs seem, the aviation forecast, that it made it seem so intimidating.
Yeah.
And I was like, legitimately, like, what do I do? Like, you got to code it, and you got to make sure it's coded right. And if you know anything about me and my ability to code, it's not there. So I was nervous about it.
Yeah.
But then I get here, and it's not that bad because you're building off of someone else's TAF code, and so you're like, oh, so it makes it a little easier. So that's cool that you're able to do these modules, these training modules, side by side with the AWIPS machine and all that stuff just right there. So you're getting a head start. This is fantastic for you.
It's nice to have it all here and be able to log into that stuff, and honestly just to be in the office to meet the people too, just to kind of hear about how like you got into the National Weather Service and how everyone else had a different path, and just the things they're doing and the things they enjoy to do in places like Juneau, and hear about their life experiences.
Excellent. Well, cool. So let's get back to you a little bit. What got you into weather, just in general? I mean, obviously you're from Iowa, so I'm guessing tornadoes and severe weather and hail probably was a big factor. But like, what else? What else got you actually to want to do weather forecasting every week until you retire?
So definitely the severe weather aspect. Before I went to college too, I wasn't like 100% set on like what I wanted to do. I did a few like job shadows here and there in high school. But once I got into the Iowa State University like tours and doing stuff like that and learning about different programs, I kind of looked more into meteorology, and like I knew I wanted to go the science field. I didn't really want to do like biological science or anything like that. But I learned about the meteorology program and just some of the people in it and the things they do and just the science behind it as well. And I just got really interested in it. And then through like some classes, I was like, I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do within meteorology. I like the path I'm on right now, just with school. and just learning through classes, different things you can do like broadcast, forecasting, and just honestly there's a wide variety that you can learn about. But I really liked the forecast aspect of getting out there and being with the community, and also just, I don't know, forecasting in general.
Yeah, I mean, and you talk about the communication aspect, because, I mean, that is big, because I could have the world's most perfect forecast, but if people don't understand it or take action on it, then it means nothing. Yeah. And so that's neat that you're getting the communication side, because then you can do the forecast and then let the super nerdy people do all the coding and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We'll let them do that. And then, we'll, do the communication side of it and help people understand the forecast so they can better prepare. And just like the motto and the what we were trying to do here, the protection of life and property, and the enhancement of the economy. So this is really neat that you're going to be right along the same track I'm on.
Yeah, that's what I really enjoy about National Weather Service too, is people like you and me, we can go more into the communication aspect and let the other people do coding, where there's a lot of projects within the National Weather Service. And I feel like throughout this process, and as I get a job and become a meteorologist, there's learning opportunities always, which is really great. You're always learning something new.
Yeah, and there's so many pieces to the Weather Service, which is something I'm still learning. I've been at this for 3 years. There's so many people a part of the Weather Service that all do something different.
Yeah.
And it all comes together. And it's just really neat to just keep learning. It's almost like a monthly basis. I learn something else going on.
Yeah.
And so that's really neat.
I think that's awesome.
So tell us some about from where you're from. Did you ever have any other jobs? Like that, you're just part-time jobs in high school or college. Yeah. What else have you done?
So for me, I started off my first job in high school. I'm really excited. I started working at our local movie theater, and it's in
nice.
Yeah.
I've heard those jobs are so good.
Yeah.
My roommate had one of those gigs.
Yeah.
And I've heard some good stories, and I've been a part of some, good stories of getting to go to movies. So that's cool. So when did you start that? And
let's see. I think that was probably my sophomore or junior year of high school. It's so long ago I can't even remember.
Nice.
But
that's a pretty sweet gig.
Yeah. I would go. We'd be able to watch movies early. You could bring one friend with you. You're who's it gonna be this week? Do the shift, then you could bring home a giant bag of the leftover popcorn and everything. After that, I worked for my dad a little bit. He has a local business there. And then as COVID came around, what everyone loves, I started working at our local pizza ranch, which I know a lot of people around here might not know what that is, but it's just a Midwestern pizza
joint.
Yeah. And then, so I did that for a little bit until I got into college. I mostly focused on my schoolwork for a little bit, but then as the second summer came along of school, Okoboji, Iowa, which I know you're somewhat familiar with, the area, Spirit Lake. My mom had gone there since she was little, and we'd go up every summer, and we had a little place there. So we were why don't I go and I spend my summers there? So I spent 3 summers there just waitressing. I actually had a few friends from school that I hadn't met before that lived up in Spirit Lake. So it was kind of nice. I had people there that I knew, and people would want to come visit. They're oh yeah, let's go to the lake, and could make good tips in the summer from waitressing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you spend a lot of time in the summertime in the outdoors. As a meteorology student, future meteorologist, does your family text you or call you wanting forecast advice?
Oh yeah.
That's the fun part about being a meteorologist, is you get those calls. Mm-hmm. What do you think's going to happen this weekend? I don't know. I've been off work, hanging out with my kids.
I can give you my best guess, but especially a lot of my family, they're really scared of the severe weather. So they're where's the tornado at right now? And I'm like, well, let me look.
Look at the radar.
Yeah. And then, so my mom used to drive back and forth to work. She doesn't anymore, but she was worried about the winter weather. So I was always like looking out for her, and she's like, oh, nice. It's nice to know that someone kind of knows what's going on with the winter weather so I can be safe.
Yeah. All right. So you've been here in Juneau for a couple weeks. What are some of the things that you enjoyed doing outside of work, whether it be something new you discovered here in Juneau or just something back home in Iowa? Like, what are some things you like to do outside of work?
Yeah. So here specifically in Juneau, I've really enjoyed like going out to different places and just seeing like different trails, and honestly just seeing where I end up, like exploring just downtown, different shops and stuff like that. And I've gotten a lot better while I'm here to just talk to random people along the way, see what their story is, see what's going on. So like one day I was just driving down the road, and I actually was able to come across some gray whales, which is really, really cool. And then there was a lady that I saw that was taking pictures, and I was talking to her, and she's like, oh, I'm from Iowa. And I was like, ah, sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah, so just cool things like that. And other things I like to do at home here, wherever it is I really enjoy doing games. My family and friends also really enjoy playing board games and stuff like that. I also sometimes occasional video game. I'm also someone who really enjoys doing puzzles. So 1,000-piece puzzles sitting in front of me, you can get entertainment for days. Just
for sure.
Do something, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being on this episode of Weather Seekers Podcast, and look forward to seeing you come back this summertime.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You get to enjoy all those trails that you've been on. Now you get to see them in the summertime with all the green and the moss everywhere. And this could be good. So, thanks for coming over the break between the two semesters. Can't wait to see you come back in the summertime. And if we have an opening, if you could just check that Juneau box, and then don't check anywhere else, just the Juneau, and then circle Juneau. Yeah, that'd be great. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And as always, if you have any questions for the podcast team, feel free to email us at juneau.weather@noaa.gov. We just put Weather Seekers Podcast in the subject line. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for being on today's show, Erin.
Yeah, thank you.